Whoa! Check that out. I cannot lie, that is really cool. This is Attack of the Clones, where I compare a legit Casio watch to a bunch of cheap knockoffs. And in this, the second episode, we are comparing the iconic Casio Royale AE1200 to 3 different clone brands. Plus, I have found this insanely affordable alternative to SKXmod's metal case upgrade that we're going to be testing, so stick around to the end for some mods. In episode 1 of Attack of the Clones, the Casio F91W took on some clones of its own, so make sure you check out that epic episode here. So for episode 2, I've bought this brand new Casio Royale in a bronze colorway that we're going to be comparing to the following 3 clones. We have a SKMEI, a Synoke, and a Sanda. And I've just realised, what is it with all the clone brands and starting with the letter S? Scam? So let's make a start with the OG, the Casio Royale that we all know and love. Oh yeah. So here it is, and this will be our point of reference. This bronze colorway looks absolutely magnificent, and if you'd like more info on the AE1200, I have done a full review here. This watch set me back about 50 Australian dollars, and along with this watch and the clones, I will be leaving links to them all below if you'd like to check them out. So let's bang it on for a wrist check, and at the moment I'm actually wearing my other Casio Royale AE1200, which I did a strap modification on earlier, and I wanted us to use a fresh one for this comparison. Doesn't it look magnificent on my 6.5 inch or 16.5 centimeter wrist? This watch truly is an icon. So let's get started with our first clone, the SKMEI. I've actually got 2 copies of the SKMEI. I have this one with the transparent bezel and also the black one. Today we're going to be looking at the black one, as I do have other plans for the transparent one for modding in the future, so make sure you're a subscriber. There we have it. Now, I have grown to trust the brand SKMEI, although they have always been living in the shadow of Casio, and they do tend to copy a lot of their designs. Here's a quick glance at some of the other SKMEIs in my collection, which I do rotate through quite regularly. We have the SKMEI 2091, the SKMEI 1628, which I've upgraded with G-Shock bezel and Bullbars, the SKMEI 1988, and the SKMEI 1412. So I do have high hopes for this SKMEI clone. I paid about $10 for this model of SKMEI, which is the model 1335. Comparing it to the face of the Casio Royale, you'll note that we don't have a world map, which is very notable indeed. We also notice that the little window up here, the circular window, appears to be playing some kind of an animation, whereas with the AE1200, it actually reflects the time as a little analog display, as you can see. So let's go through the modes and see if that will change. We have an alarm. Looks like we just have one single alarm. We have a stopwatch. Okay. We have dual time. We have a timer. And we are back to the home time. So really quite basic functionality. And I did not notice anything with the animation here. Let's start the stopwatch and see if any animation occurs. As you can see, it does not. So this little upper window really is just there for show. Going to stop this on 10 seconds. 9, 10. Oh, that was pretty close. Like the video. But yeah, and look at that. It's not even the little display up here. So I'll say straight off the bat, the SKMEI is a little bit of a letdown, but let's take a look now at its build quality. In terms of size and appearance, they are otherwise very similar. We have the same style of caseback, the exact same style of straps, and pushers as well. Okay, now the one strength that SKMEI does tend to have is the backlight. So I'm going to shut the lights off and we'll see how this performs. For reference, here is the backlight of the Royale. Very clear, very bright. You press it once and it stays on. Now let's take a look at the SKMEI, which the backlight button is here. Wow. Okay, that is a pretty nice backlight, and I can tell that would be really quite nice in the dark. So, do I expect to find myself wearing this watch much in the future? The answer is probably not. I would rather wear the original, given it already has a really good backlight and it does also have the world map, which is really cool. This model also has 5 alarms, whereas the SKMEI does not. However, at just 1/5 of the price, I can see why some people may choose to purchase the SKMEI. Darth Bubble is using her Sith mind control powers to implore you to ram that like button. Aren't you, Bubble? Poor... Good girl. So now let's move right along to the next clone launching an attack against the Royale. This is the Synoke, and I'll tell you right off the bat, I do not have a lot of faith in the Synoke brand based on what happened in episode 1 of Attack of the Clones, so make sure you check that episode out. I paid about $7 Australian for the Synoke, so let's take a look at what it has to offer. Okay, so, oh, hang on. Did it come with a screen protector? Let's peel that off. I don't like the look of that. I do have some real screen protectors we might apply to any that make the cut. Okay, so same sort of style as with the SKMEI. Let's take a look side by side there. It's really got the same pattern in that top left dial, although it doesn't appear to be animated as frequently. Okay. So this is only 30 meters of water resist. Let's remember that the Royale, I believe, is 50 meters. No, check it out. 100 meters. So there you go. And I'm not sure what the SKMEI had actually. Oh, 50 meters. Okay. So guys, already substantially less water resistance. Remember, this one's $7, this one's 10. So already, I would say probably if you're considering getting a Synoke, you may as well spend an extra couple of bucks and get the SKMEI because this thing has much better water resistance. But let's take a look at the functionalities here. We've got key button press sounds, as you just heard. We have the stopwatch up first. Oh, and it looks like we have... Oh yeah, okay. That looks normal. We have an alarm. Do we have more than one? I wouldn't be surprised if it's just one, same as the SKMEI. Yep. And after the alarm, we can set the time. Wait, so you're telling me that's it? Hang on. Stopwatch, alarm, that's it. Okay, what did we have on the SKMEI? We had an alarm, a stopwatch, dual time, and also a countdown timer. So again, really no excuse to pick up this Synoke when you could get your hands on a SKMEI, or better yet, the Royale. Now, I want you to take a look at the case back of the OG Casio Royale. Look at how sleek and slender that is. Very nice. If we compare that to the SKMEI, it is a little bit more bulbous. Actually, it might actually be about the same, to be honest. But anyway, this Synoke, look at how fat the case back is. Boom. That is absolutely hefty. And just as I expected with Synoke, the quality of these straps is absolutely terrible compared to that of the Casio. As you can see, the nice quality of the straps here. All right, the molding as well. It's all nice and clean around the edges. Check out this Synoke here. You can see kind of plastic burring on the edges there. It really just, there's not been a lot of care gone into cutting out or molding these pieces. Additionally, I've noticed we have Illuminos down here, which is the same as on the SKMEI, but of course on the actual Casio, it says Illuminator. So let's whack it on for a wrist check with these horrid quality straps. See how we go. And that big bulbous case back. See how comfy it is. Look at that. Boing. Quite comical. Okay. There you go. So in terms of comfort, look, there's not much I can say about it right now, but you know, I don't think I'll be wearing this much at all. And of course, a backlight test. This is the Synoke. Whoa! All right, I cannot lie, that is really cool. I love the blue color of that. But as you'll notice, look at how bright it is at that top left corner. There's obviously just a single LED that's illuminating the display, but I'll admit it actually does a pretty good job. But other than that backlight, there's really not a lot of redeeming features for the Synoke, and I really don't expect myself to be wearing this thing. So now let's move on to the next clone, the Sanda. By the way, I've got plenty more plans for the Attack of the Clones series for other models of watches, so do make sure you are a subscriber. And I also have a plan to swap the module of this AE1200 with the WS1700H, so I can't wait to share that one with you soon. Back to the Sanda. Now this is a brand I have never experienced before, but I've had a ton of user comments asking me to try out the Sanda brand, so here we go. Let's whip it out and take a look. Wow. I am really impressed with how cool this looks. I'm just a sucker for transparency, which is why I've gone with this one. And actually, I chose the purple because I simply don't have any purple watches in my collection, and I've been meaning to for a while. I really dig this transparent smoky black strap here and the transparent purple bezel. Really, really cool. This Sanda set me back about 16 or 17 Australian dollars, so a little bit more expensive than the SKMEI and the Synoke. I'm noticing a trend in the animation style in the top left dial with the Synoke and the SKMEI, and of course the Sanda also has 50 meters of water resistance. Let's take a look at the back. The case back is, I would say, about the same as the SKMEI and the Royale. Let's take a look to confirm. Here's the Royale. All right, about the same, nowhere near as bulbous as this Synoke. Look at that thing, god damn. In terms of quality of the straps, they do feel rather supple and comfortable. And in terms of the printing quality, you can see that there's not really any burring on the sides of the plastic. Okay, it's actually looking pretty good. We've got the QA test passed there, awesome. And yeah, I'm just really pleased with the overall appearance of this watch. So let's bang it on for a wrist check. How cool is that? I actually really dig the look of that with the transparent black and purple, but let me know below, what do you think of this colorway? Let's whiz through the functionalities after the home time. Oh, that button was really hard to press. We have a alarm, again, a single alarm, I presume. Yeah, guys, these buttons are something else. Whoa, check out that light. We'll check that better with the lights off in a second. But yeah, guys, these buttons are an absolute strain to press. We then have a stopwatch, fantastic. We have dual time and a countdown timer. So it would appear that the module of the Sanda is similar with the SKMEI, almost identical in fact, although it does look a little bit cooler and much superior to this Synoke. So does the Sanda earn a place in my collection, and will I be wearing this one? I'm going to say yes, and that's purely for just how awesome this thing looks. As I said, I really love this colorway, and I really look forward to wearing this thing. Do remember, if you would like to get your hands on a Casio Royale, the Sanda, the SKMEI, or for some ungodly reason, the Synoke, I will be leaving links to all of these for you in the description below. Don't go anywhere, because now it's time for the bonus where we do 3 modifications to these watches. I've got a strap mod, a Bullbar mod, and the most anticipated, this metal case upgrade. So let's get started. To match the beautiful bronze colorway of this Casio Royale, I've acquired some brown 18mm split straps, which I can't wait to install. Let's see how we go. We'll use our spring bar tool just here to remove the original straps. Let's take a look at these. As you can see, a nice brown color with black accents to match, which I think is going to go really nicely with this colorway. And there we have it, an absolutely handsome design we have here with this nice bronze and brown colorway. Let's chuck it on for a wrist check. There you have it. Look at that, guys. I am really happy with that. So now onto our next quick mod. To complement this purple and black colorway of the Sanda, I've acquired this AE1200 Bullbar off AliExpress, which I will be leaving links to these and the straps you just saw earlier below. There it is. Now, some of the bull bars I got from AliExpress have been a little bit low quality, coming a little bit bent. What do you reckon? That one looks okay. Maybe a little bit bent, but let's give it a shot and chuck it on. One piece of string. Thread it in like so. And once that part's over, which it is, we just pull out on this, over those buttons, There we go. Bingo. Oh, it is a little bit crooked actually. See, flat down there, but yeah, a bit crooked. So we are going to try and fix that with a bit of bending. All right, we can see the bend there. So I have just gone and grabbed my little Knipex Cobra Minis, which we have done a separate review for if you want to check that one out here. I absolutely love these little pliers. So let's try and get this a bit straighter. It pains me to say it, but I'm going to give up on the Bullbar mod, guys. I've actually butchered the paint off it there using the tool, so it's kind of scratched it a bit. I might pick up another one, but you know, it is what it is. I don't want to overdo it and wreck it, so... Actually, let's keep going, because I could probably just paint over that or use a Sharpie, so we won't give up just yet. There we go. That looks much straighter than it did before, so I am really happy with that. Don't tell anyone our little secret. Shh. And actually, I've just realized on the Sanda here, we have one of these default crappy screen protectors that we don't want to keep on permanently. So thankfully, I do have some spares of the Royale. So let's get one of those on. E1200. Look at that. We got plenty to work with. I'm going to put one on my Casio Royale as well. Man, this protective film doesn't want to come off. What gives? Nah, I've butchered this one. Let's try that again. Look, it's coming off. Ah, that looks perfect. What a useless sticker on this front thing here. Oh yeah. I'm feeling really good about that now, guys. Great stuff. And before I forget, we never did a proper backlight test of the Sanda. So here we go. Whoa! Check that out. That thing feels like an absolute UFO. Look at that. Okay, I am super happy with this watch now. In fact, I think I'm going to wear this as my watch of the day. Oh yeah. And of course, one for the new Royale. Look at how perfectly that fits on the Royale there. Compared to the Sanda and the SKMEI, I found that it wasn't quite exact, but looking really good on the Royale. And it came off much easier too. Look at that. And finally, it is time for the budget metal case upgrade that I found on AliExpress. This thing set me back about 20 Australian dollars. If you compare that to the price of the SKXmods, these things cost about 100. So if this is any good, I'm going to be really happy at the amount of money we save. Let's give it a shot. Okay, so look at that, guys. The buttons themselves are actually metal, not like the plastic ones on the Royale here. Actually, maybe these are metal. Let me know, are these actually metal or are these made of plastic? I'm not actually sure. So looking at the overall quality, oh, well, one of our pushers is stuck in. We'll see if we can pop that out, but this one's got a nice spring to it. Look, just off the top of my head, I can tell you this does not feel like it's going to be water resistant, like it's going to be as water resistant as the Casio buttons. So maybe if this goes on, I won't shower with it, but let's see. Here's my electric screwdriver, which I've been absolutely loving, and we unboxed this one in a AliExpress gadgets unboxing video, which you can check out here if you missed it. These screws, as you can see, are really quite small, so there's not a lot of security on the case back. I do wonder if there's going to be a rubber gasket here as well. That case back doesn't look as nice as the original. It does look a bit flimsy. It does look like we do have a rubber gasket, although it does not appear to be sealed with the silicone. So I do have some lubri joints we'll be able to use for that. And look, they've even given us a new faceplate here, guys, although we probably will just use the original. So let's investigate this broken pusher. As you can see, it is coming inward there. See if we can pop it out. So it looks like, yep, all the others have a nice little spring. I have received a dud. This one, the little spring, is not working. Okay, hopefully the actual springiness of the module itself will be able to press this button back out, but we'll soon find out. By the way, guys, you may have noticed on this one, I have also done an affordable strap upgrade. This is a SKMEI strap, and I did that again as an alternative to the quite pricey skxmod strap. So I do have a short video on that one here if you'd like to check it out. Okay, and I think we'll try and use this original faceplate here, if we can. See if that'll plop in. Yep, that's in. Chuck this module in. Right way up. Does that want to sit flush? Alright. Oh, I think we've snagged one of the buttons there. Let's lift it out. It's that damn broken button with the dud spring. So let's push that. Okay, so I guess we'll try their gasket just because we know it's the right size. It is quite flimsy, but as I said, it's very dry. So we are going to hit this with some Lubri Joints gasket grease. I'll leave a link for this below. Absolute godsend. So we chuck that in, give it a few twists, and now that's coating it in a nice silicone grease to keep it nice and watertight. Line it up, and I suppose we're going to have to use their case back. Okay, now before we commit to all the screws, let's take a look. That actually does look pretty damn good, but I'm just worrying about these pushers. So, okay, that one's working. Yep, that's working. Oh, guys, so all of the pushers are working, all right, even without that. Oh, hang on, it's this one. It is working. Just feels a little bit different. Okay, so let's get the rest of these screws on. There it is. Now for the straps. And there it is. Let's take off the old Sanda. All right, not gonna lie, that looks really, really nice. Let's chuck it on for a wrist check. Boom. And there you have it, guys. An extremely affordable alternative to the skxmod Royale upgrade kits. The nice shiny silver really does look nice. I quite like the contrast between the black and the silver back to the black. Really happy with that. I don't think that the water resistance will be as good because of the way that these pushers are handled, but it does certainly look really nice and it is quite an affordable price. I've also got these two fantastic new watches to add to my collection, which I'm absolutely delighted with and look forward to wearing. Make sure you've rammed that like button if you've enjoyed these bonus mods, and while you're down there, guys, do let me know. Do you consider this metal kit as an upgrade or a downgrade? I'd love to hear your thoughts below. A massive thank you to our Goat Crew channel members for supporting the channel, you absolute legends. Here's a link if you'd like to join us. Here's some more great content for you to watch next. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in our next review.